owner of Snap Construction. I was friends with Chad long before I started marketing with him. I was a bit skeptical of radio advertising before Chad convinced us to run ads. The advertising's been so successful, we want to help the station grow. We've absolutely loved working with the listeners of AM 950, and we all know how extremely important this radio station is to the community. To help AM 950 grow this summer, Snap Construction will be putting up proceeds to assist the station in marketing on social media. Snap Construction encourages you to follow, engage, share, and interact on the AM 950 social media platforms. Together, we can all work to ensure AM 950 continues to thrive and grow in our communities. We stand by our work with a lifetime craftsmanship guarantee. For a free estimate or more information on our financing, call 612-333-SNAP or check us out online.
There are things that we experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in a corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us, share your story, share your evidence, because this isn't just your story, this is our story. This is Ghostbox Radio.
It's just a jump to the death. Put your hands on your hips.
And this is Ghostbox Radio on AM 950, where every week we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, or just the unusual. My name is Greg Bach, and thank you very much for joining me today. You know, I just wanted to quickly say that we are just a few days away from our mini event over at Billy's Bar and Grill in Anoka, Minnesota. We call that Ghost Stories and Beyond. Char Savoy, who you may have remembered hosting such shows as this one, she will be there. We're going to be doing this together. It's going to be kind of what today's show is going to be about. It's going to be about telling ghost stories and stuff. But Patrick, I have a question for you, if you don't mind.
Of course.
You know, I listened to the spot I created just prior to this start of the show. Do I really sound like that?
Sounded fine to me. I think we did have to do some.
I don't know who that was. I really don't know who that was on that commercial. I mean, I remember recording it. Don't get me wrong, but I was like, who the heck is that? Wow, boy.
Maybe it was a guy named Beg Rockin'.
It was Gerg. Gerg came in and he was all about it. Yeah, that was that was really, like, I listened to it. I'm like, whoa, okay, wow. I mean, wow. So hopefully that's why I never listened to the shows, Patrick. I never, a good radio host should be re-listening to the shows, figuring out what they can improve upon. But I know that's why I don't listen to them.
No, I totally get that. I don't like listening to my voice either, even though it's
all over the station.
All over the station. It's all over my other work. I'm like, well, I can't get better as a sports broadcaster if I don't listen to my games. And
yeah, it was, and Linda just asked, was your ad played at a different speed? I wonder that too a little bit, but I mean, you produced it, so.
You want the answer on air or off air?
Oh God, no. Well, we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later. I think that's the answer right there. So what we're going to do today, folks, and I'm really excited about this, is once in a while I like to do what we call paranormal chat. Basically, what that is we'll just talk about stuff in the paranormal. Do you have a question about the paranormal, about ufology, Bigfoot? Do you have a topic you want to throw out there? When I say call in and ask a question or something, I come from it not as an expert. There is no experts in paranormal. There's no experts in ufology or Bigfoot because we don't know everything. It's impossible to know everything, but I can certainly give it a shot. I give it a try, or we can open it up to the wider audience. And I have a couple people who have sent me some messages that we'll get to as well. But, if, you'd like to, join into the conversation, you can do so and ask a question related to the paranormal, or even share a story if you like. You can call in 952-946-6205. That is 952-946-6205, or email us a comment or question. The email address for the station is comment@am950radio.com. We are live on AM 950 Radio, but also streaming video on the following Facebook pages. You can watch us on AM 950, Things Network, MN Ghostbox, Free Spirited Network, RU Media, Skeleton Key Network, and Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment. So please go there, support those pages, and feel free to leave questions on any of those Facebook pages you're watching from, as I am monitoring them for comments on those pages as well. So there's lots to talk about, lots that we can talk about today. I'm just being very careful about how I speak, Patrick. I'm just really now I'm enunciating words. I'm not slurring. I felt like I was slurring during that spot. I'm not going to lie to you. It was eye-opening, and I wasn't drinking, honestly.
Maybe you're not being honest when I'm just kidding.
Wow. Whoa. Wow.
Just kidding.
You know, it was funny because it's not funny because it's actually hurtful that this was after the controversial episode we had last week where it was Ice Cream Day, National Ice Cream Day, but there was not a scoop of ice cream to be found in this building, no matter what.
I take responsibility for that. I'm sorry.
Well, with seeing the ant traps around here somewhere, must have been ice cream at some point, and there's still like maybe some hidden or something like that. I don't know, but so you know what? Why don't we get to a couple things here real fast? First off, one thing we're going to talk about in the show if we have time, and I want to throw it out there for any of our listeners. And we won't talk about it at this moment, but we'll get back to it in a little bit. Has anyone ever heard of the one-off documentary or program that the BBC aired that was called Ghost Watch? That was broadcast in 1992. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later in the program, but if you've heard of it, let me know, because it's kind of groundbreaking for its time and is now considered one of the most incredible programs on the paranormal, and it's going to be for a reason that you may not want to recognize it for. But why don't we first get to, I put a question out there to people prior to the show today, and the question was basically, we're going to be talking all things paranormal. Do you have a story? Do you have something you want to send to us? And we had Ben, who had sent me a note, and he said, "Hi, Greg. I once heard a strange sound when I was on an investigation, captured on a digital recorder. A few of my other team members caught it, and some didn't." Now, that's not unusual, right? And we did not hear it at the time. It was a very odd, magnetic, undulating energy sound. It would warble for 15 seconds. During the same investigation on a ghost box, we caught words like look up, sky, clouds, fly. We felt we were very close to being visited that night. What do you think? Have you ever captured the sound of a UFO? Man, it made my hairs on my neck and arms and toes stand up. Now, it is interesting. I said to Ben, yes, I certainly have. And I've known others to have that as well. When I do my Sunday night and Tuesday night ghost box sessions, on occasion, we're going to use that time to reach out to see if we can pick up any alien responses. And, you can never, I don't think you could ever really say 100% what we pick up through the spirit box is definitively what we think it is, especially when it's going to be like something as abstract as alien encounters or anything like that. But boy, we picked up sounds we've never heard before, and that type of sound, Ben, that you have recounted there, I picked up. Some may remember a gentleman by the name of Greg Koss, who has frequented this show before, and he has picked up what I believe is that sound as well on location. One of the I think elementary schools that no longer open to like schooling, but is available for investigations. So there has been a number of people that I've heard that have picked up sounds like that. And there is a gentleman, and I keep threatening I'm going to put this episode out there and just not have been able to do so yet, Matt Neen, who found himself on board a UFO when he was in his teens. he, for about a few weeks prior to this incident, I mean, he's a genius. He worked in propulsion, and he would, prior to what happened to him, he would be picking up on shortwave radio. This is way back in the day, picking up on shortwave radio all of these odd sounds. And I wonder if those would have been a part of it. I also wonder if he also, I think he was picking up stuff like communication and stuff. And that was really, that's really interesting. And I do think, first of all, Ben, you don't mind me saying so, Ben is a psychic medium. He is a fantastic person. I know Ben, I've known him for a many number of years. If he is saying that he thinks that he might have had a visitation that night, I am not going to doubt it. And anyone who says it, to be honest, I'm not going to doubt. And Ben, if you thought that's the case, I think that you're probably right. I have felt that using the spirit box for my stuff, and when we would do that, there's been a couple of times like, will you come visit me? I'll say this and we'll get through the spirit box. Yes. And then it's like, well, what did I just do? What just happened that I'm going to now, sleep with one eye open or something like that? And sadly, to my knowledge, none of that has really ever come to anything. But it is very interesting. And there's a documentary on Discovery Plus, and boy, I can't remember the name of it, which is really odd because we had Melissa Tittle on the program to talk about it when it came out. That was all these kind of like the convergence of UFO sightings in the Jersey area. And they consider that to be the hotspot of America for UFO sightings. And the idea of mixing our paranormal investigations, which paranormal really does include ufology. I mean, paranormal is just kind of a blanket statement. Most of us always just take it to be with ghosts, but paranormal means all of that, the umbrella for all of that. The idea of doing a paranormal investigation and what you're actually picking up are aliens and whatnot. I find that to be completely fascinating. I love that. And I think it's such a great thing. I don't think it's really looked into that much, to be honest. I think there's a lot more we can do with that. And maybe we'll talk about that a little bit more during the program. Why don't we do this? Let's take our first break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation about all things paranormal with your questions and stories, too. You're listening to Ghostbox Radio on AM 950.
Hi, my name is Pamela Topchian. I'm a former nurse, published author, and board-certified hypnotherapist with hypnobreakthrough.com. Do you feel stuck in a rut? Finding yourself wondering if this is all there is to life? Tired of just existing? Hypno Breakthrough can help you to reduce stress, release fears, gain confidence, and reach your life's goals holistically, mindfully, and gently. So I ask you, what changes would you like to see in your life? Let's talk about it. Contact me, Pamela Topchian, board-certified hypnotherapist, to schedule your free consultation, which includes a complimentary stress-reducing sample session, so you can see how it feels for yourself before any commitments are made. Go to hypnobreakthrough.com for all the information. That's hypnobreakthrough.com.
Hi, folks. This is Kirk Bankstad from the Minocqua Brewing Company, and I sell Choice Hard Seltzer. Choice is an all-natural, 105-calorie grapefruit-flavored hard seltzer for those who believe that a woman's reproductive decisions should remain a private matter between her and her doctor. When you purchase Choice Hard Seltzer, 5% of the proceeds go to support reproductive rights organizations in Minnesota.
Drink progressively with Minocqua Brewing. Get Choice Hard Seltzer at Lake Wine and Spirits in Uptown and Center's Liquor and Supermarket in Northeast Minneapolis. Find other Twin Cities locations at MinocquaBrewingCompany.com.
Aho, this is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. On our show, we talk about Native issues like treaty violations, protecting the water, and COVID in our Native communities. Weekly correspondents like Winona LaDue, Dr. Stately, State Senator Mary Kunesh, and Bob Blake update us with Native news that you won't hear anywhere else. Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Join us weeknights from 6 to 7 p.m.
Metaphysical means different things to different people, and Enchanted Boutique in Maplewood has classes and workshops for any skill level, whether you're beginner or new to the metaphysical. Enchanted Boutique's friendly instructors bring positive energy and years of experience in all the metaphysical realms. Workshops include energy healing, various divination techniques, crystals, and much more. Plus, Enchanted Boutique has lots of products that can supplement what you learn at their newly expanded retail location in Maplewood. Find the class schedule and book your own session at enchantedboutiquemn.com.
Hi, this is Laura. Listen to Food Freedom Radio every Saturday at 8 a.m. or anytime via podcast. Our individual health is connected to the health of each other and connected to the health of the earth. We know the problems with the dominant food system: climate change, deadening soils, nitrates in the water, factory farming, injustice, concentration of wealth. How do we both as individuals and as a community step up and support a living food system which honors the earth? Tune to Food Freedom Radio every Saturday at 8 a.m. and remember to support your independent farmers.
Are you dreading Monday, hating life, and living for the weekends? It might be time for some changes. Pamela Topjian is a board-certified hypnotherapist at hypnobreakthrough.com, and she can help. Consultations, well, they're always free, and you'll also receive a complimentary sample session to try out. Get in touch on hypnobreakthrough.com or send a message on social media, Hypnobreakthrough or Pamela Marie Topjian. And like I always say every week, I've done it myself. Give it a try, please. You're gonna benefit from it. That's all I'm gonna say. As we come back to Ghostbox Radio on AM 950, my name is Greg Bakken, and thank you for joining us. Today we're talking all things paranormal. Your questions and stories are very much needed as well. Feel free to call in 952-946-6205. That's 952-946-6205. Leave a comment on any of the Facebook pages you're watching, or you can send us an email, comment at am950radio.com. Now, Patrick, I'm just going to say, I'm not one to harp on things, right? I'm really good at letting things go over here. But the commercial for Enchanted Boutique, that sounds more like me than that doppelganger that was in the Billy's commercial, okay?
All right.
What are you talking? You don't think so, or just you don't? Do you not have ear for radio, Patrick? It's okay.
Yeah, I guess I'm just that bad at my job.
Well, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, good. So, I'm just going to say, I think I sound better in that other commercial for Enchanted Boutique, to the point that I think it's good enough that I'm hoping people are going to an Enchanted Boutique. And I'm just not sure if we're going to get people at Billy's because of it must just be a poor read, Patrick. A lot had been said in seconds.
Too much
had to be said. There's too much. It's bursting with information is what's happening.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I'm lost for words over here.
well, why don't we do this then? So like I said, we're talking paranormal. We're talking all sorts of good stuff. We just got done talking about aliens coming through like spirit box coming through. And actually, Linda in one of the chats had said, I've heard those kind of sounds on occasion when tuned into paranormal talk shows. Well, maybe they're listening. I don't know. Dawn had also said that she had heard those type of sounds when listening to my spirit box session. And, that's what's really interesting about it. And I think, maybe at some point I'll go through and see if I can get kind of a sound bite of that. Maybe Ben can send me one. Maybe Greg Koss can send me one, and we can do kind of a comparison to see. Now, I want to move on. And earlier today, Robin had sent me a note regarding. She said that it would be interesting to hear my take on shadow people and the Hat Man. What do you believe the phenomenon is, whether the shadow entities are evil or not, and all that stuff that goes along with it? I think that's a really, really good question. And I'm going to be honest and say, I don't think shadow people are inherently evil. I know that there's been people in my life who've been bothered by shadow people, who have had an extensive childhood of being bullied by them, being surrounded by them. And I do wonder if people, spirits, can become shadow people, if it's not just necessarily a certain type of entity, but if that's something that other spirits can turn themselves into as well. I know that there's people there who have very strong opinions on what these entities are. And I guess, the one thing that I've learned through my time doing all this is simply, when you talk to someone and they speak with authority on anything with the paranormal, like, oh, that's what this is. This is definitely this. This definitely means that. There's definitely this. I tend not to listen to them, to be fair. I don't think that you can, like I said earlier, I don't think you could say with any certainty of expertise on any subject. I have a lot of experience using a spirit box. Am I an expert on it? Absolutely not. For a number of reasons that are practical, but also just because there, something like a piece of paranormal equipment will work differently depending on the person it's given to. And there's all sorts of complexities why that's the case. When it comes to shadow people, I just don't believe that is the case. Now, a quick story, and we might pick this up after the break if I go too long on it, is that I was at the Villisca Axe Murder House. For those of you who don't know what that is a very famous location for paranormal investigation in Villisca, Iowa, that back in 1912, 8 people, 6 of them children, were murdered by an axeman. It's an unsolved mystery, and it's now open to people to do paranormal investigations, tours, all sorts of things like that. Great for people like us who like to do investigations, but it's also kind of creepy that it's this place is now just a public location. But when I was there, I was in the living room, and to my right you could see the kitchen. And the person who was leading the investigation, she was outside doing a perimeter check. Yeah, we do call it that. And she has a walkie-talkie. We have walkie-talkies. And I didn't have my walkie-talkie on, but I saw a shadow figure go from the kitchen to the back kitchen door and run through the door. A full-fledged shadow figure. You could, the outline and everything. And I just said, once again, my walkie-talkie wasn't on, so I was just talking to the people in the room with me. And I said, I just saw a shadow figure. And at that point, the walkie-talkie comes to life, and Vicky, who is doing the perimeter check, she's just like, she came around the side of the house where that door, on the other side of the door was, and she's just like, guys, I just saw a shadow figure run from the kitchen door out to the field. So I saw the inside of the shadow figure being inside the place, and she saw the outside. And I think that that you can't ask for better validation, in my opinion, especially she didn't hear me say that I saw it. It's just everyone else on the team saw it. And it's one of those great things that, once again, was that even a person that was like an intelligent spirit, or was that what we call residual energy, meaning that this was something that is being replayed, energy that's being replayed over and over and over again? What if it was the murderer exiting the house? But it, you couldn't interact with it because it's just going through the motions. What if people see that all the time? And it happens over and over and over again through every day since it happened. It happens over and over again, like a tape loop. And, just because it's not intelligent doesn't mean that, it's bad and stuff. And so what I'm going to do, why don't I continue this topic? Because there's more I want to say of it, more I want to talk about the Hat Man and other things of like. So let's take another break. When we come back, let's continue our conversation about all things paranormal. with your questions and stories too. You're listening to Ghostbox Radio on AM 950.
Hi, I'm Peter Solak.
And I'm Adam Ostrowski.
We are here at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces to talk about the joy of live fire cooking. Cooking over a live fire is the oldest and most basic form of cooking.
What's new is in the way fire is handled and its heat is managed.
It's easier to experience and enjoy the smell and taste of food cooked over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces sells and installs live fire grills, fire pits, and ovens. Let us help you experience the smell, the taste, the fun of cooking with fire.
Pizza was first made and is still best made in an open fire oven. The radiant and conductive heat of a live fire is unmatched for wood roasting and baking artisan breads too.
Come see the many ways you can cook over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces has over 35 working wood and gas units on display at the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis. More information at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that works for you. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
I'm Candy Brothel, publisher of the Twin Cities edition of Natural Awakenings magazine and host of Green Tea Conversations, a new show for people who are on a journey to take responsibility for their health and play a more active role in their family's well-being. Join me every Sunday at 10 a.m. as I interview local experts who share the latest in natural holistic approaches in a fun and informative way. So grab a cup of tea and join the conversation as we awaken to natural health. Visit us at naturaltwincities.com.
Crooner's Supper Club is back after an exciting renovation. Enjoy a delicious dinner, fabulous cocktails, and music from top-name local and national artists in the newly renovated Crooners, with its new dining room and bar, Maggie's Lounge, expanded seating in the main stage, and updated COVID safety measures. Located just north of 694 off Highway 65, make your next night out with Crooner's Supper Club, a little piece of old-school nightlife in the 21st century. More at croonersmn.com.
Hi, my name is Pamela Topchian. I'm a former nurse, published author, and board-certified hypnotherapist with hypnobreakthrough.com. Do you feel stuck in a rut? Finding yourself wondering if this is all there is to life? Tired of just existing? Hypno Breakthrough can help you to reduce stress, release fears, gain confidence, and reach your life's goals holistically, mindfully, and gently. So I ask you, what changes would you like to see in your life? Let's talk about it. Contact me, Pamela Topchian, board certified hypnotherapist, to schedule your free consultation, which includes a complimentary stress-reducing sample session, so you can see how it feels for yourself before any commitments are made. Go to hypnobreakthrough.com for all the information. That's hypnobreakthrough.com.
Hello, this is Ellie Krug with Ellie 2.0 Radio. Now my show will be on Saturdays from 10 to 11 and replayed on Sundays from 1 to 2. You will get to the best of Ellie 2.0 with talking about idealism with guests who come in and who are idealistic, who are trying to change the world. And you will get me, Super Idealist. Tune in. We can't wait to hear from you. And you'll hear from me. Saturdays from 10 to 11.
Have you been to Enchanted Boutique lately? I mean, if not, it's a good time to go. They have a lot of stuff going on. Please remember to support our friends over at Enchanted Boutique. This wonderful metaphysical store offers products such as books, candles, tarot cards, crystals, plus classes and services. They are truly, truly wonderful people. They're good friends of mine. Plus, they run a pretty amazing business. You can visit them at 1860 Beam Avenue in Maplewood, Minnesota, or go to their Facebook page, Enchanted Boutique MN, and also their website, enchantedboutiquemn.com. On their social media channels, they have a lot of stuff going on, including a ribbon cutting ceremony for their grand opening. They've been through a lot this year, but they still put out an amazing product. And, you know, I've been having people asking me about services and classes. Go to enchantedboutiquemn.com. Check out what they have. You're going to find what you're looking for. And if you just have questions, give them a call. Go down there, check out their wonderful selection of products. You're going to love it. So just check out Enchanted Boutique. I'd really appreciate it if you would. This Wednesday, August 3rd, already August, it's amazing. At 6:30, join Char Savoy and myself for an evening of monthly get-togethers that we are calling Ghost Stories and Beyond. We're going to be getting together to talk ghost stories, UFO sightings, Bigfoot encounters, and whatever else. This is happening over at Billy's Bar and Grill in Anoka, Minnesota. We're going to be in the basement there, and it's great food and atmosphere. Billy's itself, you might think it's a little haunted because it's a very old part of Anoka, and Anoka is a very Halloween capital of the world. Don't forget all that. Share your ghost stories or hear other people's experiences. It's $10 a ticket to join in. Over the month, we'll have guest speakers, so join us this Wednesday, August 3rd at 6:30 p.m. at Billy's Bar and Grill in Anoka for Ghost Stories and Beyond. Also, there's just so much happening. It's so exciting. Pair Friends Events is back with 2 new events in Holton, Kansas, September 16th and September 17th at the Haunted Hotel Josephine. I'm going to be there to take part 2. September 16th will be the Lake House, which was featured on an episode of Discovery Plus's Ghost Hunters this year, and September 17th is at Hotel Josephine. These 2 locations are incredible. We were just there a few weeks ago, and the activity was incredible. It's worth saving up. I know it's not in Minnesota, but it's a great trip. It's a great way to get out of there. September is not going to be super hot. And if you buy overnight tickets, you can stay on the property. Check out all the details of these events by clicking on the Hotel Josephine event banner found on my show page on am950radio.com. Also, if you miss Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken Live, AM 950 replays these episodes Saturday nights at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, or you can listen anytime by going to Spotify or iTunes. After listening, please leave a positive review for my show. Now, we're talking about all things paranormal today, so don't forget, I'm looking for your questions, for your stories. You can call in 952-946-6205, or you can leave a comment on the comments for the Facebook pages that we're running on. I did want to do a quick check because I talked about that program that Melissa Tittle was on, and I think it's called Alien Invasion, the Hudson Valley on Discovery Plus. So check that out. They have some really, really interesting theories. And it's well worth taking a look at if you have Discovery Plus. It's really good. Now, I can also tell you how surprising it is that after trying to find this page, like trying to find what the name of this documentary is, how many times you could spell something wrong when you're trying to quickly find something on Google. I cannot tell you. Stuff that I have been able to spell properly before. It's incredible to try to spell something when you're in a hurry. It's ridiculous. We were talking shadow people, and I wanted to share one more story about a shadow person that I saw, and Christy Ayers, who is running an event with Stephanie O'Reilly at the McIntyre Villa. This is more of her story, but I did see it too, and it was once again at the McIntyre Villa back in February, March, and we were up in the attic of this place, and we were broken up, I think, into 3 groups, and we were up on the attic, and we were kind of further back, and we were just doing our normal thing when we're in a group, trying to get paranormal responses, trying to get spirit talking to us and all that good stuff. And suddenly, during all that, somebody came up from another group and was hanging out. I think they just didn't want to get involved. And we were talking whatever else, and that person finally moves forward. It's not a person, it's a shadow figure. There was a shadow figure that was watching us, not for a little bit, for a fair amount of time. We all thought that it was somebody who just came upstairs. And what happened was this thing moves in front of the window and then disappears. And I did see it, but I certainly did not see, I did not see it the way that some of these people saw it. But it was, honestly, what I find very interesting about that moment from my perspective was simply that this was truly something that you could feel the energy of it, but as a person, which to me also kind of goes into that area of not all shadow people are dark entities that want to hurt you. That's kind of what I'm getting at here, that I do believe that sometimes maybe it's an energy situation. Maybe they cannot fully manifest and they can only show up as shadow. Maybe there's all sorts of things. And maybe there are some that are nasty. And I don't want to say maybe, because I know that for a fact. The people who have told me over the years, they are the ones who I believe. Don has said, I've seen two types of shadow people, and one pulled me almost out of my bed, but the other was just looking into my room. One felt scary, but I think they just wanted someone to know they were there. Now, I also have seen one of my favorite paranormal shows is one called My Ghost Story, and it's not in production anymore, but this was really a precursor to something like Paranormal Caught on Camera. And there was, in one of the episodes, someone set up a camera and it's looking out of a bedroom, and outside the bedroom you could see the hall where it's a stairwell, but it goes like a square around the perimeter. So there's like a railing all around, and the shadow person they caught on camera is running around stopping on the stairwell, looking down, and all of a sudden it just turns around and looks into the room, like directly at the camera. And that was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. I mean, that was truly outrageous. Now, I'm hoping that it was real. I mean, sometimes you just have to take faith that the stuff that shows up on television that looks good was real. But I mean, nowadays, I find it really hard to start to believe stuff I'm seeing like on Caught on Camera and stuff, because it's so easy to manipulate now. It's so easy to manipulate stuff. I want to talk about that if we have time a little bit later. But also, I wanted to just hit on the Hat Man, which I find very interesting. I wonder if that is truly something. I mean, it's a shadow figure basically, and I can't remember. This one is super tall, but wears a hat, and I don't know. I mean, first of all, it's not my place to ever say something does or does not exist, but it does feel a little bit, a lot of people see it, but, you know, and I think the tall one I'm confusing with Slender Man. There's a lot of them, folks. But what I wonder about is if it's in the same genre as something like The Rake. And for those of you who do not know what The Rake is, it is this creature that is, let's see, I think it was like, it's very tall, it's hairless, but it crouches and crawls on all fours. And the first time I ever heard about The Rake was, you know, on Paranormal Caught on Camera. And there was a video of someone opening a door, and this thing on all fours just comes running at it. And the commentators, bless them, said that it's The Rake. And their purpose for The Rake is a fictional character, first of all. It is not something that is in lore of really any kind. But what the people on Paranormal Caught on Camera, such as the Brian Canos of the world, if you want to believe him, is, and I'm not sure I do, to be perfectly honest, is that if enough people think about this character, that they can will him into reality. And it's an interesting thought, but I would have to think that there's other type creatures and whatnot that would be more acceptable to be willed into reality. That video, though, assuming that it's real, and I don't assume that, because Paranormal Caught on Camera famously in his first episode showed all these lights outside of Shakopee, Minnesota, in the air. There were UFOs in the air in a circle. And what that actually was with the lights for Mystic Lake Casino. So, you know, you got to take this stuff with a grain of salt. But, you know, the thing is, and I'm looking at dictionary.com here, and they say in the fictitious origin story of The Rake, early sightings of the monster occurred as early as 2003. And when reported encounters with the curious, frightening creatures began cropping up in northeastern America before media blackout and the subject apparently began. As a result, urban legend has it that there's little to no known information on The Rake until around 2006, when victims began collaborating to research the creature and discovered close to 24 documents with dates ranging across centuries all describing similar encounters with the rake. Some of the supposed artifacts included a suicide note from 1964, a journal entry translated from Spanish dated in 1880, and a mariner's log from 1691. The most famous story of the rake involves a woman waking to find the monster sitting on the edge of her bed. The character is often said to creep into bedrooms, induce nightmares, and observe the dreamers for time before killing them. So, there's that. So I wonder if creatures like the Hat Man are similar, if there is a way to kind of do a mind sort of, a mind meld of people who will something into creation. It's an interesting thought for sure. And I don't know. It's interesting. Has any of you ever seen the Hat Man? I mean, I haven't. When it comes to those type of things, I've not seen like a Bigfoot. I believe I've seen a UFO. I think that we've talked to them through Spirit Box. But, when it comes to Mothman or Slender Man or the Hat Man or any of the cryptozoology creatures, I personally have not seen anything like that at all. So it'd be interesting to see if there are anything like that. And I just right now, I mean, I don't want to say I don't believe, but at the same time, I just haven't seen it to be able to say so. So that's where I stand on that. Why don't we do this? Let's take our last break. We're going to talk a little bit about Ghost Watch when we come back, and then also finish our conversation about all things paranormal and your questions and stories too. You're listening to Ghostbox Radio on AM 950. Metaphysical means different things to different people, and the friendly and knowledgeable staff at Enchanted Boutique in Maplewood will assist you through your journey. You'll be welcomed with positive energy and amazed at the large selection and variety of crystals, locally crafted products, books, and so many other metaphysical supplies. Visit Enchanted Boutique's brand new expanded location in Maplewood at 1860 Beam Avenue across from Maplewood Mall. Everyone at Enchanted Boutique is ready to assist with your personal spiritual journey.
Do yourself a favor and check out the amazing cuisine of eatlocalminnesota.com. More than just a website, eatlocalminnesota.com provides you with the best local and independently owned restaurants in the Twin Cities. Specializing in Szechuan and Peking cuisine, the Great Wall Chinese restaurant has been a local favorite since 1981. They offer one of the most extensive menus in the Twin Cities. Favorites include the sesame chicken, imperial beef, and Peking duck. The Great Wall restaurant is located off 45th and France, with takeout available too. More at greatwallrestaurant.us.
The next time you're out in South Minneapolis, make Nightingale off 26th and Lyndale your go-to dining option. It's a comfortable neighborhood restaurant that features a delicious menu of American classics, plus a wide drink and cocktail selection. Nightingale has dining room and bar seating available, plus takeout and delivery. Current hours are 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. daily with the full menu until midnight. More at nightingalempls.com.
Hi, this is Ken Hageland, host of Living Healthy and Aging Well, inviting you to listen to our live call-in talk show airing every Saturday from noon to 1, where we talk about your health and your life and provide insights you need to know to live and age well. Each week, we talk with guests who provide answers to important questions regarding healthcare, elder care, end-of-life care, and self-care for caregivers, and help you and your loved ones plan for the future and enjoy your highest quality of life today. Please join us every Saturday from noon to 1 on AM 950 for Living Healthy and Aging Well.
Hi, Matt McNeil for Rudy Luther Toyota. I love the Toyota Sienna. It will help you conquer the family road trip vacation. The trick with long road trips is to not get exhausted, and I can personally vouch that the Toyota Sienna makes long road trips comfortable, roomy, relaxing, and a treat to drive. And considering it fits all your gear, the Sienna is a great base camp when you're out on a day's adventure. Highway driving, city driving, or country driving, it will be a memorable trip with the Toyota Sienna. Test drive the Sienna at Rudy Luther Toyota, 5 miles west of Minneapolis on 394.
This is New Beginnings, hosted by award-winning broadcaster and speaker Freddie Bell.
Freddie, this generation of the baby boomers, people are living longer, so the baby boomers are taking care of elderly parents.
Let's talk about your health, and specifically, let's talk about Medicare. Our show features the concerns of America's 78 million baby boomers in employment, finance, health and nutrition, and even entertainment.
Join us for New Beginnings, Saturday mornings at 11, brought to you in part by Vision Loss Resources.
And welcome back to Ghostbox Radio. My name is Greg Bakken, and for our final segment today, we're talking all things paranormal and your questions too. One thing I wanted to talk about, because I've been asked to write an article for Haunted Magazine in the UK, and the purpose of the article is talking about a program that ran on BBC One in 1992 called Ghost Watch. And those who know me knows that British television is a specialty of mine. And one of the things that I wanted to do was talk about this landmark production, and the program itself was a live investigation on Halloween in 1992, broadcast live, of the goings on of a house in a part of outside of London, and that had been haunted for a while. And that there's two little girls there that had been seeing and sometimes getting scratched and taken over by a spirit that they called Pipes. And the reason why they called the spirit Pipes is this guy Pipes was because he would, when they knew he was coming, he was hitting the pipes in the house. And so what makes it interesting is that during it, you actually see this ghost a number of times throughout the production. You have to go back and look for it. They go from the broadcast, from the location to the studio, back and forth. And for a while, it looks like that one of the kids was responsible for all of it, almost making it look like a hoax. But then more was coming to light, and it became obvious that someone who had lived there in the neighborhood during the period of time talked about this person who lived there in the 60s, who actually was a child molester, and they think that that was really what Pipes was, this ghost. Pretty scary stuff, except none of it was real. It was a mockumentary, and it didn't do a great job of letting people know that it was a mockumentary. And the people who were in the studio, the people who are on location, they weren't like no-name news people or commentators. These were people who were well-known on the BBC, which really gave a lot of credibility to everything. And basically, it was really, it was so well done at the time. Looking back at it, you could knowing in hindsight, it's like, okay, a little questionable here and there, but it was really, really, it really got people angry at the time. And what ended up happening, that 18-year-old factory worker, Martin Denham, who suffered from learning difficulties and a mental age of 13, he had a mental age of 13, he committed suicide 5 days after the program aired because he thought it was real. A number of people thought it was real. They had a call-in line to call in if you saw anything or you had ghost stories. 30,000 people got through. They estimated about 100,000 people tried to call. And the nothing about that program was live. And it was really pretty incredible. It was a pretty incredible program. And apart from the fact that that this poor person killed himself over it, which is absolutely horrific. The program is never re-aired in the UK, but it's considered one of the finest pieces of that style of programming. Only in the beginning, and you could easily miss it, did it say that the events are not real. But it didn't do a great job of sharing that. So it got a lot of people by surprise. And it's really one of those incredible programs. If you have a chance, if you ever run across it, check it out. It's a very interesting program. And Linda says, sounds like what Orson Welles did on radio. Absolutely, 100%. That is very similar to that as well. And that's just the thing, you listen back to like the Orson Welles stuff, and I think that does hold up pretty well. There's one that was, Ghost Watch that I don't know if it holds up as well anymore, but there's also, when I worked at a television station and we had a program about an asteroid coming to Earth, and I I did newscasts. I directed the news at 10 o'clock on a Sunday night. But prior to that, there was this mockumentary about an asteroid coming to Earth, and it was flying. It's like done like real-time news, like watching everything and whatever. And the end of the program, we send up a rocket to this asteroid and we blow up the asteroid, and like, yay, the Earth is saved. And then the last shot is, oh my God, there are millions of more asteroids coming our way. And then it cuts to the local news. You know how they cut the credits in half in the local news? They're like, up next on KYC, we're going to be talking about, you know, corn prices and stuff like that. So obviously you'd hope that that means that people understood that this was not real. But as I'm getting ready to go into my newscast, and this is a true story, the phone rings, like KYC, and the woman's like, just pause, and the woman's like, what about the asteroid? I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, what about the asteroids that are coming at us? And I said to her, that was not real. That was a program, and it was, you know, also had commercials in it and stuff. So it wasn't a real program. She breaks down and she starts to cry. And she says, we've been hiding in the basement for hours, feeling like that we're going to be hit by asteroids. And it was really kind of a testament of how powerful this medium can be. And I'm talking back in 1995. Now, Patrick, can you scroll down so I can see my out time, please? It's thank you. And it was really pretty amazing, actually. I feel bad about that. Part of me is just like, wow, you know, I mean, first of all, this program with the asteroids had a lot of commercial breaks in it, and before and after each break, they said that this is fictional. So, you know, part of it's like, you know, pay attention. But at the other hand of it, when someone gets scared, that is truly horrific. And when somebody starts really getting into all that, you know, and that you can't talk about it. I mean, I felt bad, but hopefully they felt relief that they weren't going to be hit by asteroids, I guess, you know. And it's just really a very unfortunate thing. So that being said, that's the power of it. If you can find Ghostwatch, and if it might show up on BritBox or something like that around Halloween, because it tends to kind of show up every once in a while. Give it a look. It just, when I was watching it, it reminded me a lot of like Paranormal Activity, the films. You know, just kind of, everything you see is being done on camera. They made up a person to look like Pipes, and Pipes appeared about 6 times throughout the production. Very, very hidden, but very well done. And like I said, I'm writing an article for Haunted Magazine for that. And I just watching it, I thought, boy, this is something interesting to talk about. I definitely wanted to throw that out there if anyone wants to check it out and find it. Finally, as we are wrapping up here, I just wanted to say rest in peace to Nichelle Nichols, who played Lieutenant Uhura in Star Trek. Always been a fan of Star Trek. Always enjoyed that series so very much. And it's sad that another member of that cast has passed away. And she's, you know, not only well known for playing that role, but for breaking so many racial barriers during that period of time, and not even realizing it. Martin Luther King Jr. had to tell her about it because she wanted to give it all up. And I'll tell you, that's what makes it even more special. Everyone, thank you so much for joining in. We'll be back next week. We'll be talking more ghost stories. Hope to see you this Wednesday at Billy's. Take care, everyone.
This is the Being Curious Show. I'm Brian.